First story, Shadows in the Silence by Michael Thompson. It was a chilly autumn night in the small town of Ravenswood. I, Officer Michael Thompson, had just started my shift as a patrolman. The streets were deserted, wrapped in an eerie silence that hung in the air like a heavy fog. Little did I know, this would be a shift etched in my memory forever. As I cruised through the dimly lit streets, the only sounds were the occasional rustling of leaves and the soft hum of my patrol car. I received a call from dispatch about a disturbance at an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town. With a heavy sigh, I turned towards the location, my headlights cutting through the darkness. The warehouse loomed in the distance, a desolate structure with shattered windows and a sagging roof. As I stepped out of my car, an unsettling feeling washed over me. The air was thick with an unspoken tension. I cautiously approached the entrance, my flashlight illuminating the shadows that danced on the walls. Inside, the air was stale, filled with the musty scent of neglect. I could hear faint whispers echoing through the empty halls, sending shivers down my spine. The source of the disturbance remained elusive, hidden in the labyrinthine corridors of the decaying building. As I ventured deeper, the silence grew more oppressive. Suddenly, a door creaked open in the distance, startling me. I approached cautiously, my heart pounding in my chest. Behind the door, I discovered a room bathed in dim, flickering light. In the center, a circle of people dressed in hooded robes stood, their faces obscured. My training kicked in, and I drew my weapon, demanding they show their hands. The figures turned towards me in unison, their eyes hidden beneath the hoods. The room fell silent, and I could feel their gaze pierce through the darkness. Without warning, they dispersed into the shadows, leaving me alone in the eerie room. I radioed for backup, my voice trembling as I described the bizarre encounter. The backup arrived swiftly, but the robed figures had vanished without a trace. The warehouse was once again swallowed by silence, leaving me with more questions than answers. Days later, as I delved into the investigation, I discovered the warehouse had a dark history. It was once a meeting place for a clandestine cult that performed mysterious rituals. The town had thought it was disbanded years ago, but that night, I had stumbled upon their secret gathering. The incident haunted me, lingering in the back of my mind during subsequent patrols. The shadows seemed to stretch a little longer, and the silence felt more oppressive. Ravenswood, once a quiet town, now held secrets that whispered in the wind, leaving me to patrol its streets with an ever-watchful eye. Second story, The Eyes in the Mirror by Emma Turner. My name is Emma Turner, and I've been a police officer for over a decade. One night, I found myself on the outskirts of a small town named Blackwood, responding to a peculiar call from a distressed resident. The caller, a frantic woman named Mary Johnson, claimed that every time she glanced in her rearview mirror while driving, she saw a pair of piercing eyes staring back at her. The unsettling part? No one was in the back seat. As I drove to Mary's house, my mind raced with skepticism. I've dealt with my fair share of bizarre calls, but this one felt different. The address led me to a quaint house on the edge of town, surrounded by dense woods. Mary, a middle-aged woman with fear etched across her face, greeted me at the door. She recounted her experiences in a hushed tone, describing the eyes as cold and emotionless. Intrigued yet skeptical, I offered to follow her in my patrol car to witness the phenomenon firsthand. Little did I know, this decision would plunge me into a nightmarish encounter. As we cruised through the darkened streets, Mary's eyes flickered nervously between the road and the rearview mirror. Suddenly, she slammed on the brakes, causing me to swerve to a stop behind her. She pointed at the mirror, her voice trembling. I peered into the reflective glass, half expecting to see nothing but the usual emptiness. To my astonishment, a pair of eyes stared back at me, piercing, unblinking, and unmistakably human. Panic set in as I scanned the back seat, finding it vacant. Attempting to maintain composure, I radioed for assistance and advised Mary to stay in her car. As I stepped out, the night air felt thick with an unseen presence. Shadows danced in the moonlight, and the distant howls of coyotes added to the eerie atmosphere. Backup arrived, and we cautiously approached Mary's car. The eyes remained fixed in the mirror, unaffected by our presence. The situation took a turn for the bizarre when, upon closer inspection, we realized the eyes were not a reflection. They were embedded in the glass itself. As we puzzled over this unnatural phenomenon, a voice echoed from the woods, chilling us to the bone. It whispered Mary's name, repeating it with an otherworldly cadence. Fear painted her face as she clutched the steering wheel, paralyzed by an unseen force. The eyes in the mirror intensified, their gaze growing more malevolent. In a desperate attempt to break the spell, I shattered the mirror with the butt of my flashlight. The eyes vanished, leaving only fractured glass in their wake. Mary, visibly shaken, thanked us before driving away, leaving me grappling with the inexplicable events that unfolded that night. Blackwood, once a tranquil town, now held a sinister secret that lurked in the mirrors, waiting to ensnare unsuspecting souls. Third story, Whispers in the Wind by Alejandro Rodriguez. In the quiet town of Eldridge, nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, I, Officer Alejandro Rodriguez, patrolled the winding roads that connected the scattered homes. Eldridge was known for its tranquility, but one fateful night, the calm facade unraveled, revealing a darkness that lurked in the shadows. The call came in around midnight, a distressed homeowner reporting strange whispers emanating from the woods behind their property. Skepticism lingered as I navigated the narrow roads to reach the isolated residence. The night was still, the air thick with an unsettling stillness. Upon arriving, the homeowner, a middle-aged man named Thomas, led me to the edge of his backyard. The dense tree line loomed in the darkness, the rustling leaves creating a disconcerting melody. Thomas pointed towards the woods, his eyes wide with fear. As I strained my ears, I heard the faintest whispers carried by the wind. The words were indecipherable, a chilling murmur that seemed to dance on the edge of comprehension. Thomas insisted that the voices had been growing louder, tormenting him and his family every night. I stepped into the woods, my flashlight cutting through the inky blackness. The trees seemed to close in around me, their gnarled branches casting eerie shadows on the forest floor. The whispers grew more distinct, a symphony of unseen voices that sent shivers down my spine. Suddenly, the air turned frigid, and an unnatural fog enveloped the forest. My senses heightened as I navigated the unfamiliar terrain, the whispers now forming coherent sentences that spoke of ancient secrets and forbidden knowledge. The weight of an otherworldly presence pressed upon me. As I delved deeper, the source of the whispers revealed itself, a clearing bathed in an otherworldly glow. A group of hooded figures stood in a circle, their faces obscured by darkness. In the center, an ancient tome lay open, pages fluttering in a spectral breeze. The figures ceased their whispers, turning towards me with an intensity that pierced through the shadows. Fear gripped my heart as I realized I had stumbled upon a clandestine gathering, a congregation of individuals delving into the forbidden arts. Without hesitation, I retreated, the haunting whispers fading into the distance. Eldridge, once a haven of peace, now held a secret that echoed through the rustling leaves and lingered in the wind. As I patrolled the quiet roads, the whispers persisted, a reminder that darkness could slumber in even the most serene corners of the world. Fourth story, The Abandoned Asylum by Olivia Mitchell. As the clock struck midnight in the forgotten town of Harrowsend, I, Officer Olivia Mitchell, embarked on a chilling journey that would unravel the town's darkest secrets. A call had come in about strange occurrences near the long-abandoned Harrowsend Asylum, a place shrouded in legends and whispered tales of madness. The asylum, a looming structure with broken windows and crumbling walls, stood on the outskirts of town like a decaying sentinel. Despite its grim history, curiosity got the better of me as I approached the desolate building. The moon hung low in the sky, casting an ethereal glow on the forgotten halls. The call had mentioned mysterious lights flickering within the asylum, illuminating the darkness with an otherworldly radiance. As I entered the creaking doors, a gust of wind whispered through the corridors, carrying with it the distant echoes of tormented souls. My flashlight flickered as I navigated the labyrinthine hallways, each step echoing with the haunting emptiness of the asylum. Shadows danced on the walls, playing tricks on my senses. It was then that I heard the distant sound of footsteps, soft and deliberate. My heart quickened as I followed the phantom echoes, guided by an unseen force. The air grew colder with every step, and the oppressive silence was punctuated by the occasional creaking of long-forgotten floorboards. It was as if the very walls of the asylum held the memories of the tormented souls who once called it home. I reached a large chamber, its ceiling adorned with decaying chandeliers that swayed with an otherworldly breeze. In the center of the room, a figure stood, a silhouette cloaked in darkness. As I approached, the figure turned, revealing hollow eyes that gleamed with a spectral light. Without uttering a word, the figure beckoned me to follow. A sense of dread settled over me, but curiosity compelled me forward. The figure led me through hidden passages and forgotten rooms, each step unraveling the asylum's sordid history. In one room, I discovered old medical equipment stained with the memories of dubious treatments. In another, the walls were adorned with faded sketches and desperate messages scrawled by the forgotten minds trapped within. The asylum, once a place of healing, had become a prison for the tortured souls left to wither away. As we descended into the bowels of the asylum, the figure finally spoke, a disembodied voice that echoed through the empty corridors. It spoke of an unspeakable darkness that had seeped into the very foundations of Harrowsend. The flickering lights, the distant footsteps, they were all echoes of the tormented spirits lingering in the shadows. With a final, haunting whisper, the figure vanished into the abyss, leaving me alone in the heart of the asylum. As I exited the forsaken building, the first light of dawn began to break on the horizon. Harrowsend, a town overshadowed by the sins of its past, had woven a tapestry of fear that would haunt me for the rest of my days. Fifth story, The Vanishing Village by Sarah O'Connor. In the heart of rural Ireland, Officer Sarah O'Connor patrolled the quiet village of Dunhaven. Known for its tight-knit community and rolling green hills, Dunhaven was a place where everyone knew each other. However, on a misty autumn night, The village revealed a side that had long remained hidden. A call came in from a frantic resident named Siobhan, reporting that her husband had disappeared without a trace. As I arrived at the O'Reilly residence, Siobhan recounted a harrowing tale of strange occurrences in Dunhaven. People were vanishing, leaving behind empty homes and unanswered questions. My investigation led me to the village square, where an unsettling fog clung to the cobblestone streets. The air was thick with an otherworldly presence as I wandered through the eerily quiet village. The windows of the houses were dark, and the only sound was the distant wail of the wind. Siobhan led me to the outskirts of Dunhaven, where the mist grew denser, obscuring the path ahead. As we walked, I noticed strange symbols etched onto the trees, a language unknown to the living. Siobhan shivered, revealing that her husband had been obsessed with deciphering these symbols before he vanished. We approached an ancient standing stone, its surface adorned with intricate carvings that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. Siobhan, overcome with grief, pleaded with me to uncover the mystery that had befallen Dunhaven. The fog enveloped us as we delved into the heart of the village's secrets. The air grew colder, and the whispers of the vanished souls echoed through the mist. It was then that we stumbled upon a hidden clearing, where a group of hooded figures stood in a circle. As they chanted in an ancient tongue, the mist coalesced into ghostly forms, visions of the missing villagers trapped in an ethereal dance. Siobhan's husband stood among them, his eyes vacant, lost in a realm beyond the living. I confronted the hooded figures, demanding answers. They spoke of a pact made centuries ago, a bargain with forces that lurked in the shadows. The symbols, the standing stone, they were conduits to a realm where the living and the departed intertwined. In a desperate attempt to break the curse, I disrupted the ritual, shattering the symbols and dispelling the mist. The figures dissipated, leaving behind a chilling silence. The missing villagers returned, disoriented but alive. As dawn broke over Dunhaven, the mist lifted, revealing a village restored to its former tranquility. Siobhan's husband, though changed, was reunited with his wife. The secrets of the village, once obscured by the mist, retreated into the shadows, leaving behind a tale of vanishing souls and the delicate balance between worlds. Each of these stories unfolded in the shadows, revealing that the most unsettling horrors often lurk in the places we least expect. As officers patrolled the quiet streets and investigated the unknown, they encountered the inexplicable and faced the lingering mysteries that lurked just beyond the veil of familiarity. 6th story: The Silent Lake by Felix Anderson. Nestled deep in the Scandinavian wilderness, the town of Bjornsted was known for its serene landscapes and pristine lakes. However, one fateful night, Officer Felix Anderson found himself grappling with a mystery that would shatter the tranquility of the town. A call came in about strange occurrences near Lake Silvstjarn. Locals spoke of eerie lights dancing over the frozen waters, accompanied by an otherworldly hum that resonated through the stillness of the night. As I donned my winter gear, I couldn't shake the feeling that the frozen lake held secrets beneath its icy surface. Venturing into the frozen wilderness, I followed the flickering lights that cast an ethereal glow on the snow-covered ground. The forest surrounding the lake stood silent, as if holding its breath in anticipation. As I approached the edge of the frozen expanse, a bone-chilling wind swept through the trees, carrying with it the haunting hum that had unsettled the townsfolk. On the icy lake, I discovered a series of intricate patterns etched into the frozen surface, geometric shapes that seemed to pulsate with a faint, otherworldly energy. The lights swirled overhead, casting an entrancing display that mirrored the patterns below. As I stepped onto the lake, the ice creaked beneath my weight, and a profound stillness enveloped the surroundings. The lights intensified, casting long shadows on the frozen canvas. It was then that I noticed figures moving beneath the ice, shadows of a forgotten past trapped in the frigid embrace of Lake Silvstjarn. As I gazed into the frozen depths, the figures emerged, their movements synchronized with the hum that echoed through the crisp night air. They were spectral remnants of a bygone era, frozen in time and tethered to the lake by an inexplicable force. The townsfolk spoke of ancient legends, tales of a mystical connection between the lake and the spirits that dwelled within. The patterns on the ice, the lights, and the hum were all part of a celestial dance that transcended the boundaries of the living and the dead. With a heavy heart, I realized the only way to break the cycle was to disrupt the harmony that bound the spirits to the lake. Armed with a ceremonial dagger, I traced intricate patterns into the ice, mirroring the celestial dance. The lights flickered and dimmed, and the hum gradually faded. As the last echo of the hum dissipated, the frozen figures sank back into the depths of Lake Silvstjarn. The lights extinguished, and the forest released a collective sigh, as if the weight of ancient secrets had been lifted. The stillness returned, and the town of Bjornstad resumed its peaceful existence, the mysterious dance on the frozen lake now a fading memory. 7th story. The Haunting at Hawthorne Manor by Grace Roberts. Nestled in the heart of the English countryside, Hawthorne Manor stood as a testament to a bygone era. Officer Grace Roberts found herself drawn into a tale of spectral whispers and unexplained occurrences as she patrolled the quaint village of Wiltshire. The call came from the manor's current owner, Sir Edmund Hawthorne, who spoke of inexplicable phenomena plaguing the estate. As I entered the grand foyer, the air felt heavy with the weight of history. Portraits of Hawthorne ancestors adorned the walls, their eyes seemingly following my every move. Sir Edmund led me through dimly lit corridors, recounting tales of disembodied whispers and ghostly apparitions. The manor, though elegant, bore the scars of a past steeped in tragedy. It was said that the spirits of the Hawthorne family lingered within, unable to find peace. As night fell, I patrolled the expansive grounds surrounding the manor. The gardens, once meticulously maintained, now held an air of neglect. Moonlight cast long shadows, and the wind whispered through the gnarled branches of ancient oaks. In the garden maze, I encountered a fleeting figure, a spectral silhouette that vanished as quickly as it appeared. The air grew colder, and an otherworldly presence settled over the estate. It was then that I heard the whispers, a chorus of voices that spoke of betrayal, love, and loss. Guided by the whispers, I entered the manor's forgotten chambers. Each room held echoes of the past, replaying scenes of joy and despair. The spirits seemed to beckon me further, as if urging me to uncover the truth that bound them to the manor. In the bowels of Hawthorne Manor, I discovered a hidden chamber, its walls adorned with letters and mementos of a forbidden love. The whispers intensified, revealing a tale of star-crossed lovers torn apart by family feuds and societal expectations. Determined to bring closure to the lingering spirits, I conducted a séance in the chamber, inviting the Hawthorne ancestors to share their untold stories. The room crackled with ethereal energy as the spirits spoke, their voices merging into a haunting symphony. As the séance concluded, a serene calm settled over Hawthorne Manor. The whispers ceased, and the spectral figures faded into the shadows. Sir Edmund, though skeptical, thanked me for bringing peace to his ancestral home. As I left Wiltshire behind, the echoes of Hawthorne Manor lingered in the recesses of my mind. The village, steeped in history and haunted by the ghosts of its past, held secrets that transcended the boundaries of time. The legacy of the Hawthorne family, entwined with the bricks and ivy of the manor, became another chapter in the enigmatic tapestry of the English countryside. 8th story, The Aberration in Ashcroft Mine by Daniel Walker. My name is Officer Daniel Walker, and I've patrolled the quiet town of Ashcroft for years. However, one night would plunge me into the depths of an unsolved mystery, hidden within the cavernous tunnels of the Ashcroft mine. The call came from a miner named Robert Turner, who spoke of strange occurrences deep within the mine. As I entered the mine's entrance, a damp chill filled the air, and the only sound was the echoing drip of water. The mine, once a thriving source of prosperity, now held a foreboding atmosphere that sent shivers down my spine. Guided by Robert, we ventured into the labyrinth of tunnels. The flickering light of our headlamps danced on the walls, revealing the scars of decades of excavation. As we descended further, an inexplicable unease settled over us, as if the mine itself harbored a dark secret. In the heart of the mine, we stumbled upon an ancient chamber, its walls adorned with faded symbols and crude drawings. The air felt charged with an otherworldly energy, and a low hum reverberated through the rock. As we explored, the walls seemed to pulse with a rhythm that defied explanation. Suddenly, the mine's tunnels echoed with unearthly whispers, their origin impossible to discern. The words were indecipherable, spoken in a language that seemed to transcend human understanding. The mine, once a silent refuge, had become a conduit for forces beyond our comprehension. As we delved deeper, the whispers intensified, guiding us to a hidden chamber. In the center, a crystalline structure emanated an ethereal glow, casting intricate shadows on the walls. The hum grew louder, resonating with a frequency that seemed to vibrate through our very souls. Without warning, the walls of the chamber shifted, revealing an otherworldly portal that pulsed with an ominous energy. Figures emerged from the portal, shadowy entities that moved with an alien grace. Their presence seemed to distort reality itself, warping the very fabric of space within the mine. In a desperate attempt to contain the anomaly, I radioed for backup and evacuated the mine. The shadowy entities, undeterred by our efforts, continued to pour through the portal, their forms shifting and merging with the darkness. Outside the mine, a team of experts arrived to assess the situation. They erected barriers and conducted experiments to understand the nature of the portal. The whispers persisted, growing louder as if the entities sought to communicate through the void. Days turned into weeks as the town of Ashcroft became a focal point for scientific inquiry and paranormal speculation. The mine, once a source of livelihood, now stood as a haunting reminder of the thin veil between our reality and the unknown. As I patrolled the perimeter of the mine, the whispers continued, echoing through the night. The mystery of Ashcroft Mine remained unsolved, leaving the town in a state of perpetual tension. The portal, a cosmic aberration, had become a portal to the unknown, a gateway that defied the laws of our understanding and cast a shadow over the once peaceful town of Ashcroft. 9th story, The Carnival of Shadows by Isabella Moreno. In the heart of Louisiana, Officer Isabella Moreno patrolled the charming town of Bayouville. Little did I know that one night would lead me into the heart of a mysterious carnival that appeared on the outskirts, bringing with it a shadowy aura that would grip the town in fear. The call came from a distressed resident who spoke of a carnival that seemingly materialized out of thin air. Intrigued yet skeptical, I made my way to the outskirts where, against the backdrop of towering oak trees draped in Spanish moss, the carnival sprawled like a phantom in the night. The entrance was adorned with faded banners and flickering lights, casting an eerie glow on the rusted rides and dilapidated tents. As I ventured through the carnival, an unsettling silence hung in the air, broken only by the distant creaking of the rides and the occasional echo of laughter that seemed to carry on the wind. The carnival's attractions were peculiar, to say the least. A fortune-teller's tent beckoned with an otherworldly glow, and a carousel spun with spectral riders. The air was thick with the scent of cotton candy, masking an underlying sense of unease that clung to the surroundings. As I explored further, the carnival revealed its true nature. The shadows cast by the flickering lights seemed to move independently, taking on sinister shapes that slinked through the darkness. Whispers emanated from the sideshows, speaking of forgotten bargains and debts paid in the currency of lost souls. In the heart of the carnival, a tent pulsated with an ominous energy. The entrance bore a sign that read, "The Hall of Shadows." Intrigued and wary, I stepped inside to find a labyrinth of mirrors that distorted reality. The reflections seemed to move independently, each one harboring a darker version of myself. Suddenly, the mirrors shattered, and the room plunged into darkness. Whispers surrounded me, echoing through the void. The carnival itself seemed to come alive, its shadows converging into a spectral figure that materialized before me, a manifestation of the town's collective fears and secrets. The figure spoke of ancient pacts made by the town's ancestors, binding the fate of Bayouville to the carnival of shadows. The laughter, the rides, the echoes of the past, it was all a manifestation of the town's deepest fears and desires. With a flash of blinding light, the figure vanished, leaving me alone in the shattered Hall of Shadows. The carnival, once a beacon of mystery, began to disintegrate, its attractions fading into the night. As I stepped outside, the first light of dawn broke on the horizon, revealing an empty field where the carnival once stood. Bayouville, forever changed by the carnival's visit, returned to its peaceful state. The residents, though haunted by the memories of that fateful night, carried on with their lives, knowing that the Carnival of Shadows had left an indelible mark on the town's collective consciousness. Each story unfolded in the shadows, revealing that the most unsettling horrors often lurk in the places we least expect. As officers patrolled the quiet streets and investigated the unknown, they encountered the inexplicable and faced the lingering mysteries that lurked just beyond the veil of familiarity. 10th Story: The Enigma of Eclipsed Hollow by Jessica Carter. In the heart of the American Midwest, Officer Jessica Carter found herself drawn into the enigma of Eclipsed Hollow, a seemingly ordinary town that harbored a chilling secret beneath its surface. A call came from a frantic resident who spoke of a series of strange events coinciding with the arrival of a rare celestial phenomenon, the total solar eclipse. As I patrolled the quiet streets of Eclipsed Hollow, the anticipation in the air was palpable, a sense that something extraordinary was about to unfold. On the day of the eclipse, the town gathered in the central square, their eyes turned toward the darkening sky. As the moon obscured the sun, a sudden hush fell over the crowd. However, instead of the expected awe, a disconcerting stillness settled over Eclipsed Hollow. As the moon's shadow painted an ethereal tapestry on the ground, the residents began to notice peculiar distortions in the shadows. Figures moved independently of their casters, taking on eerie shapes that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Unease spread through the crowd, mirroring the unsettling nature of the phenomenon. As I patrolled the outskirts of town, I encountered a series of strange symbols etched into the ground, a cryptic language that seemed to resonate with the celestial alignment. The air felt charged with an otherworldly energy, and the shadows twisted into nightmarish forms that seemed to dance in rhythm with the eclipse. The eclipse, rather than dissipating, intensified the strange occurrences in Eclipsed Hollow. Whispers echoed through the streets, speaking of an ancient pact made with celestial entities that lurked beyond the veil of reality. The symbols, the shadows, and the unsettling stillness were all part of a cosmic agreement that bound the town to forces beyond human comprehension. Guided by an inexplicable compulsion, I followed the symbols to an abandoned mansion on the outskirts of Eclipsed Hollow. The air grew colder as I entered, and the interior seemed to warp with the same unnatural shadows that plagued the town. The mansion, once a grand structure, now stood as a gateway to the unknown. In the mansion's dimly lit halls, I stumbled upon a hidden chamber where an otherworldly entity awaited. The entity, a being of shadows and celestial energy, spoke of the eclipse as a celestial alignment that bridged the gap between realms. Eclipsed Hollow, unwittingly tethered to this cosmic event, had become a focal point for the entity's influence. The entity revealed a choice, allowed the cosmic connection to persist, granting Eclipsed Hollow untold knowledge but at the cost of the town's collective sanity, or sever the connection and banish the entity back to the cosmic abyss. The weight of the decision hung in the air as the eclipse reached its climax. In a moment of clarity, I chose to sever the connection, breaking the cosmic pact that bound Eclipsed Hollow to the celestial forces. The mansion quaked with celestial energy, and the entity, its form dissipating like shadows in the wind, let out a haunting wail before vanishing into the unknown. As the eclipse waned, the shadows in Eclipsed Hollow retreated, and the symbols faded from the ground. The town, no longer under the cosmic influence, slowly returned to normalcy. The residents, their memories clouded by the cosmic event, carried on with their lives, unknowingly spared from the otherworldly fate that had loomed over Eclipsed Hollow. Each story unfolded in the shadows, revealing that the most unsettling horrors often lurk in the places we least expect. As officers patrolled the quiet streets and investigated the unknown, they encountered the inexplicable and faced the lingering mysteries that lurked just beyond the veil of familiarity. Thank you for watching whole video. Check this video you see on the screen. It's one of my favorite. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and smash that like to support my free and daily content for you. If you enjoyed this video, drop a comment and tell me what story got you chills.